Stay tuned, everybody, because it's time for the Playin on Music Row podcast with your host, Fran. Heard each week on this station. And now, here's Fran.
Well, welcome, everyone. Today, we're very excited to be speaking with songwriter, artist, and 2020 Josie Award winner for Best Musical Collaboration, Dave Nudo. And he's playing a Music Row with us today. How are you doing?
Howdy. I'm all right. How about you?
Fine. Thank you for taking the time to speak with us because I know everybody's so busy. We appreciate it.
Yeah, it's my pleasure.
Especially you. You've got a lot going on in your music. We're going to talk all about it.
All right.
Let's start off when you were young. When did you first become interested in music?
Oh, I think from a pretty young age. I remember being out in the yard playing in the woods there, and doing, singing songs that I could remember from hearing off of the radio that was playing in the house there, and all of our family reunions and that kind of stuff pretty much all had a guitar or a keyboard or both or whatever. So it was ingrained in me very young.
Okay, so is that when you started to play guitar, or did you start young too?
Actually, I didn't learn how to play guitar until I was 19, and I'd started kind of dabbling in the idea of writing songs and wanted to be able to accompany myself. So I thought that the only way is just get started, even though I felt like it was kind of late in life, but whatever.
Well, you're never too late to start, and of course you can't write unless you can play something.
That's right.
Well, who are some of the writers or artists that have influenced you?
Oh, well, some of my favorite like bands back in the day was guys like Alabama. Those guys were incredible, and all the like 1990s country radio was really quite influential on, I guess, how to write a good story and put it to music. But also I listened to a lot of different stuff from that era. Was rap and R&B, all sorts of stuff. Heavy metal and that kind of stuff too. And then I don't know. I did quite a bit of writing for some metal, sort of, not necessarily really thrash or anything like that, but like hard rock, kind of post grunge sort of hard rock. And then after a while I decided that after I'd been writing country songs pretty much my whole career of writing, in and out of whatever band I was in, that seemed to be kind of something that when I had a guitar in my hand, it kind of became more of a country kind of a vibe, country rock sort of thing. So I decided to put Dave Nudo Band together. And anyway, these days my biggest influence is like Chris Stapleton. He's got such a way with words, and I think that, and he puts music together so well, and it's just so hard it's infectious, I guess. So it's hard. And him and Luke Combs and Morgan Wallen and all these guys that are kind of at the top of their game right now, it's hard not to take influence from them. And I guess that pretty much rounds up who I'm influenced by.
Well, that's quite a few there. Well, you have a song which is a real good. I think it's a country tune. Maybe a country outlaw country, titled "Lonesome." Could you tell us a little bit about that? Because we're going to actually play that song.
Oh, cool. Yeah, Lonesome came about. I got together with a couple of friends of mine, and we did a little bit of a writing session, and Lonesome was one of the ones that kind of rose to the top. So I always kind of explain this, like, I'm pretty good at making music. I'm good at talking to people from a microphone, and I'm okay with that, like in my real life, in my normal daily life, but I'm a lot better at that than I am with relationships. So it's pretty easy to come by words like, for a song called Lonesome, you know what I mean?
Okay. Well, let's take a listen to the hit song here, "Lonesome" by Dave Nudo.
song to right my wrong. I'd write a happy ending. Truth be told, I'm growing cold. I keep ending up pretending. In a roundabout way, I start my day loving you. When the day is through, the only truth is there's no love in you. There's no love in you. I've been falling way behind while you were waiting for a light to shine. With these shadows on my heart, my love is hiding in the dark from you. I know you're lonesome. I misplaced your heart. You fell apart, and that was never my intention. You've been used and a little abused. I wish you to mention. I've been falling way behind while you were waiting for a light to shine. With these shadows on my heart, my love is hiding in the dark from you. Soon I'll be lonesome too. With these shadows on my heart, my love is hiding in the dark from you. Soon I'll be lonesome too. I've been falling way behind while you were waiting for a light to shine. With these shadows on my heart, my love is hiding in the dark from you. Soon I'll be lonesome too. With these shadows on my heart, my love is hiding in the dark from you. Soon I'll be lonesome too. Baby, I'll be lonesome without you when you're gone.
Well, cool. Who is actually playing that hot lick lead over there in that song?
Oh, well, since 2017, all of my music tracks have been created in out of Nashville with the session players. So I really don't even know who played the guitar on there, but I was really pretty happy with him.
Oh, yeah, I would say so. Yeah. Okay, I was
It
just
was
curious.
it was somebody that was rounded up through Eminent Music Group, indie label I'm signed to. He's got his players that he works with, and
All right, cool.
and yeah.
All right. Well, I know you mentioned that you got that from real life, that particular idea for the song. Where do you find? Are there other ways that you find you get your ideas for songs?
Absolutely. I mean, it's happened many times where I was watching a movie and somebody says a line like, time freezes when you're gone. And I was like, hey, now that's a song. That's a song right there. And so just things like that, and just watching other people in my life. Like, I would say that most of the songs that I've written in this kind of genre were all written about my life or about the people in my life, and just witnessing everything around me. Everything's a muse.
Okay. All right. Well, let me just. But you started playing guitar at a later age. You said 19. When did you start
Yeah.
performing?
About 21, when I was old enough to be in a bar. I'd ran into some guys um, that had a local band, and they graciously brought me on. I was really had a knack for singing harmony, and they were kind of that type of group. And I above really well, so band, and that's when I started performing. It was
Okay.
kind of a country rock and blues cover band, but that was about the time I started writing songs, and we were performing some of those too, some of the original songs, but not very many. So I had to move on.
Okay. Well, that's not good. But let me ask you this, because you mentioned all the different genres of music that you were influenced by. But
Mhm.
how would you describe your sound?
Currently, I'd say country rock. That's the best I can think of. It's
Okay.
about all encompassing the way that this music is
Okay.
put together, the way the words, the storylines, the topics. It's country rock.
Okay. Well, let me ask you this. You have another song which is called "At My Grandpa's Table," which
Oh,
is obviously from real life too. Can you tell us a little bit about that before we actually play it?
oh, absolutely. Gosh, I and I say this at the live shows all the time too, when I'm introducing the song. I got to spend a weekend with my grandfather and my dad. It was a little bit different than all the times we'd gotten together, for holidays and stuff like that. At the holiday thing, the whole family's there, and everybody's talking about, what's been going on in their life. But this time it was a little different. We sat and we visited at my grandpa's table in the kitchen there. I got to know him better than I ever did before, and it was along with like history of the world and history of our country and his personal life. He was telling me about being in World War II, and he actually said, he looked me right in the eye and he said, I would have gladly died for this country. And boy, it was like after that I was pretty much inspired, and I sat down with pen and paper when I got home and wrote this song called At My Grandpa's Table.
Okay, cool. Well, let's listen to "At My Grandpa's Table" by Dave Nudo, man.
That weekend was the best there's been in a long, long time. It came and went, all the time we spent was gone in the blink of an eye. I've never been quite as content to listen for a while. There wasn't one dull moment while I sat there at my grandpa's table. The world just comes alive. Wisdom flows like water, and history survives. He says, be faithful, always maintain integrity. Stick to your guns, but hurt no one, and love your family. Life, love, and honesty resides at my grandpa's table. Now and then I try to pretend that I'm a lot like him, with dignity and majesty and a beauty from within. A hero who in World War II would have gladly gave his life for this country which he loves. I learned all this at my grandpa's table. The world just comes alive. Wisdom flows like water, and history survives. He says, be faithful, always maintain integrity. Stick to your guns, but hurt no one, and love your family. Life, love, and survives. He says, be faithful, always maintain integrity. Stick to your guns, but hurt no one, and love your family. Life, love, and honesty reside at my grandpa's table. World just come to life. Wisdom flows like water, and history survives. He says, be faithful, always maintain integrity. Stick to your guns, but hurt no one, and love your family. Life, love, and honesty resides at my grandpa's table. Yeah.
Well, excellent. I kind of I think I heard that influence of Alabama in that song a little bit, huh?
Oh,
Uh,
sure. Yeah.
yeah. How is your music and career being promoted?
Currently, it's just mostly through social media and then playing live. We play all the time, all around Idaho and into Oregon and Washington and Montana and Wyoming and Nevada. And that's about as far as our stretch is right now. But um, that and like I said, social media through our website, davenudoband.com, um, Spotify. I mean, we got iTunes, every streaming platform. We're all over YouTube, and so that's basically it. And word of mouth, just doing the best we can to reach out to as many people as possible.
Okay. Well, how often are you performing, and are you planning on touring in support of those songs of Lonesome?
Yeah, absolutely. Gosh, touring is kind of a weird word right now. We don't have a band van, so we're all driving to all these different places and around the states that I mentioned, and so um, I guess you can call it touring because we're out on the road for days at a time, just not weeks at a time like I'd love. Kind of without that way I can afford out farther and farther and then hopefully bring the band back next time. You know what I mean?
Okay, yeah, sure. Well, let me just, how can our listening audience find out more about the Dave Nudo band?
Sorry,
How can
we
find
get cut
about
out here.
how can our listening audience find out more about your band? Maybe like
We go.
they can find out where you're
Yeah.
performing, etc.
I'm sorry about this. You just froze up there for your last question. I didn't hear what it was.
Oh yeah, no, I'm saying how can the listening audience find out more about Dave Nudo band? You know, like where you're going to be touring and your music, that kind of.
Yeah, that my best direction for everybody is to the website, davenudoband.com. That's got pictures and music and dates. All of our show dates are up right now currently. So I'd just like to see everybody come out to see us.
Okay, well, that's great. Well, let me say, I've asked you a lot of questions, the ones that you heard. And
Yeah, right.
is there anything that I haven't asked that you'd like to say to the listening audience?
Um, the only thing I can think of is just say something inspirational, and that's follow your dreams, whatever it is. I mean, do it on the weekends, do it on after work, or make your job, your dream come true. That's what I'm doing, and I like to try to pass that kind of vibe on to everybody because we've only got one life to live, right?
That's very true. That's an excellent thing to say. Okay, well, the Nashville Broadcasting Network wants to thank you, Dave, for taking the time to
Hey,
speak with us today. We really appreciate it.
hey, it's my pleasure. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, you're quite welcome.